Welcome to the podcast that is all about the world of direct response. Are we on the air? I'm your host, Sean Wilsey, and welcome to our special Summer 2025 series of shows called But Wait, There's More. I have been very lucky in my career in TV shopping to have met some amazing people, and I want to start bringing some of these people, not from the industry, but just, incidental individuals that I've had a chance to meet for various reasons to the podcast, because there's some fascinating people with some really interesting stories to tell. And the first one of those that I want to bring is Joey Mazzant. Again, has nothing at all to do with the TV shopping industry, but I met, gosh, what was it, like 2020, Joey, I guess?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was doing, I forgot the name. Tom
Tom
and
and
Dan
Dan.
show. Yes.
Yep.
Out of Orlando. And I guess I should explain, Joey, you're out of Orlando as well, right?
Yes, sir.
And so we got to know each other from that. And I guess Joey just fascinates me. He's no, seriously, you do.
You honor me, sir. You do.
but,
You honor me.
well, no, and I think everyone listening will start to understand why. Because first off, just explain back in 2020, because I mean, COVID was still a big thing. What were you doing in 2020? What was your profession?
For the past 16 years, actually, I've been a concierge for the city of Orlando, which is just a funny, over used French word that means I'm a glorified travel agent and travel buddy.
Yes. So you would go into a little more detail because people would be visiting what? They'd be visiting Orlando and you'd help them out.
So,
What would you do?
absolutely. So, what would happen is if you're a family coming to the greater Orlando area, you always think of the big ones. You always think of Disney. You always think of Universal, maybe SeaWorld. But there's even more to do about that. There's restaurants, there's shopping, there's once the kids are, I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years. So every year people come back and now all of a sudden the kids are 21 and 22. We take them on the Victory Casino cruise and I teach them how to throw dice and play blackjack.
Wow.
It's just a really great gig. It enables me the ability to eat some of the coolest restaurants and see some of the coolest things. I mean, you really get to understand why this place is called the City Beautiful. It's amazing.
By the way, getting back to this in just a second, as I warned you, my head's going to go in 50 million different directions as we do this. And we're taking our first right turn. How many times have you been through the gates of Disney?
Wow, that is a wonderful question. Well, you figure 16 years plus I moved here 21 years ago. I used to go there to play. I have been to a Disney park well over, probably coming up on 3,000 times,
Jeez.
somewhere around that, because
Oh my God. Joey used to post pictures of the gates of Disney, like at 5 in the morning before
yes,
anyone
sir.
was there. And then an hour later, and it was like the floodgates opened, and all of a sudden there were thousands of people waiting to get in.
I love posting the pictures where we are the very first ones in line, and I say, "This is what I see," and it's a picture of maybe five Disney employees. They're called cast members, and then I say, "This is what they see," and then I would turn the screen around. It would be like you said, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you would see 8,000 people standing behind me. It literally is just it's vulgar to look at.
Vulgar. There's the word. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Because again, I'm thinking this is COVID. These people are packed in. Some have masks, some don't. It's just I can't imagine what it would be like being in that crowd. But anyways, so getting back to the concierge thing, because that does kind of tie in with what we're talking about. Because you would, as part of your job, take families through Disney, wouldn't you, or Universal, or wherever?
Yep, Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, Gatorland, Legoland. Like I said, the Victory Casino cruise. Sometimes you get families that are here for 2 weeks from the UK. I'll take a day where I just take them to water parks or to the beach. Um, one of my repeat guests, God bless her, she's a sweetie. I took the family when she was 12 years old, and the mom and the dad were hip and cool, and they said, "We just want to drink around the world at Epcot." And I said, "That sounds like a great idea." So we would drink around the world, but she was only 12 and she wanted to feel like she was a part of it. So at every bar, they made her a mocktail, something cute. And she said,
Love it.
on my 21st birthday, will you take me to do this? Literally last year, she came back for her 21st birthday. And instead of drinking around the world at Epcot, I took her drinking around the universe. We went to every bar at Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure. Then we went to iDrive. And for her birthday at Uncle Julio's, they brought her out a giant chocolate pinata and a hammer. And she hits the pinata and breaks it open, and there's smaller desserts inside of the edible chocolate pinata. She said, greatest birthday of her life.
Oh my God! I mean, you talk about delivering joy. You were just making memories for these people that will last a lifetime. That is just
I come from an off the boat Catholic Italian family. All I know is family. That's all I know is just being good to everybody and everything.
talk about your upbringing just a little bit because I know it kind of ties in with who you are as a person today. What,
Thank
what
you.
what was it
Yes.
like growing up?
Oh, it was great. My mom, the only woman I'm actually afraid of is my 4'11" mother, who to this day could still beat the tar out of me if she ever needed to.
Right.
I was raised in a family where you made a mistake one time and mom made sure you never made it again. And because of her is the reason I've grown into the man I am today, the polite, reserved human being who has an aggressive amount of energy for a 42-year-old, but I'm still really in a great place. I'm very happy.
Where did you grow up? What city?
Uh, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yep.
Is there a
I was in
large
Pittsburgh.
Italian contingent there?
The town I grew up in is just north of Pittsburgh. It's called Elwood City. It is literally a town of 10,800 people who got off the same boat from Rome and said, well, I guess we can work in a steel. And they all settled in that one
Wow.
area.
Oh my gosh.
One of the only cities in the world that has two Catholic church in the same city.
Oh my! See, I live in where I live in Texas. It's southern half of the southern part of Texas. There is almost no Italian. Yeah, I can't find an Italian restaurant to save my life.
Well,
And so
I'm gonna cook you some of my mom's sauce and I'll freeze it, put it in the cooler, and I'll ship it down to you
I'm
so you can eat
holding you to
like a
that.
real man.
I'm holding you to that. I
I
seriously am
promise.
because I would kill for that.
I would
So
definitely.
you wound up in Orlando, and by the way, I didn't know there was such a thing as a concierge for a city. You are the first person I've ever heard of who does that for a living. Is
Well,
that a
I'm
rare
gonna
job? I mean,
it used to be. See, I love telling this story. I've only told this a couple of times, and my boss tells it better, the guy who founded the company. There was no tour guide in the theme park industry here. It didn't start until around the 80s. See, if you go all the way back to the 50s, and I hope we have time for a quick little 5 minute
go
riff.
please.
So if you go all the way back to the 50s, Walt Disney was in Disneyland and he would have investors that would come. And these investors would show up and he'd say, I got to be a big shot and I got to show them around. I got to take them around Disneyland and just let them know like this is what they're getting into. Problem is, these investors would start showing up two, three, four at a time and he can't handle it. So one day, they said he was a very interesting cat. They said he would roll up to Disneyland. If you haven't been there, at Disney World at the Magic Kingdom, we actually have to park all the way out in the ticket and transportation center, excuse me, and then take a monorail or a bus or a boat over to the park. Whereas at Disneyland, you roll up, you park your car, and then you can walk over. And they have these individual ticket windows, whereas here in Orlando, it's one building and they just call you when the next window is available. In Disneyland, they would have like six of these little tiki huts, and Walt Disney would roll up. He'd toss his kids to, or excuse me, toss his keys, not his kids, toss his keys to the valet and say, I'm going to go walk the park and see what's going on. And he noticed one morning that there were maybe four people at a kiosk, and there were maybe six people at a kiosk, and there were like 100 people in line at this one kiosk. And immediately, what do? You go to a dark place and you say, somebody in this window is scamming tickets. I need to get behind it. So he got in line and he waited. And as he gets to the front of the window, this young lady was there and she goes, oh my gosh, Mr. Disney. He goes, hey, shut your window down. And she's like, why? And he goes, shut your window down. She shuts the window down. Everybody's, oh, and they walk away. He goes in the back door. He goes, I noticed that every other window has six, seven, eight people, but you've got at least eight times that. And she goes, oh, well, Mr. Disney, I'm a Disney expert. He goes, yeah, my name's Walter Elias Disney. I'm the expert, honey. She goes, no, 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 no. I love your park. I go every day. And he's like, so why are these people in your line? She goes, I give free advice. He goes, I'll bet you do. She goes, no, no, listen. People come up and they say, I want to do Peter Pan. I let them know, make sure you go there first because that line tends to fill up until lunchtime. And he's like, I didn't know that. She goes, yeah. And I tell people, if you're going to go to Autopia, remember, at 10 a.m., we open up the second, third, and fourth row. So skip Autopia. And then right at 10 o'clock, remember, he's like, oh my gosh, I should be taking notes. What else do you know? He was in there for 40 minutes and he goes, all right, well, here's the deal. I have a lot of investors that come to town that want to be shown around, and you're fired. She's like, what did I do? He goes, no, 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 don't worry. I'm giving you a promotion. You're the new tour guide. She's like, he's like, except I don't like the term tour guide. That's obnoxious. Those are those people that carry flags and lead around large crowds of people. I'm going to call you a jockey. I like that because you jockey guests around the park. And that's why to this day, they all wear blue plaid shirts, blue skirts or pants. And some of them of the old school ones still wear the riding hat and carry the riding crop around. It's really cool.
Oh my
Fat,
gosh.
right? They still wear those same uniforms. Now, fast forward to about 40 years later, the Magic Kingdom. They don't have tour guides. All they have is people that lead people around, and you would call the Disney hotline if you remember that, and the phone number would ring and it would say,
Hmm.
"Hey guys, right now it's only a 15-minute wait for Space Mountain." But by the time you got over there, everybody already knew that. So it defeated the purpose. And what happens is the Walt Disney finally started hiring tour guides. They got the jockeys. We finally got them over here in Orlando, and but they were always female. Every jockey was a female because Walt Disney felt that the more matronly a person was, the easier it would be for the family to get along with them. And do you? This is a fun one for you. Take a guess. What do you think the most requested job is at the Magic Kingdom? Think about it.
Oh my
What
God! Most requested
what
job.
what would be the most requested job if you had to work as an hourly employee? Where do you, of all the places in the world, think about it. If you're working at It's a Small World, and I come up to you and I say, "Excuse me, where's the restroom?" They go, "Not a problem, sir. If you turn around, it's right over there underneath that restroom sign." Think about this. If you work at the Haunted Mansion, excuse me, where's the bathroom? You must be an imbecile. Turn around. It's right there. Thank you. There is a cathartic feeling about working at the Haunted Mansion because you get to be kind of a D-head to people. So
Oh, interesting.
so that's the most requested job because you don't have to be fake happy all the time, which I'm always real happy, so that doesn't bother me. But so
Yeah.
there are people, if you want to be a little bit mean, that's where you go. So the most requested job is at the Haunted Mansion, you go through the queue and you go into what is famously known as the stretch room. You are the lead scare taker. You're in the room, it opens up. And of course, for those people that haven't been before, it's a room that opens slowly. And you walk inside a big circle and you'll see paintings up on the ceiling. And somebody says, "Please move towards the dead center of the room." And everybody laughs and you move towards the middle. And then the door shuts and the room starts stretching. Now, as the pictures get more revealed, you see how these people have passed away. It's a whole thing. You have to definitely YouTube it, check it out. The coolest job is if you are a celebrity, they hold the room before you and after you. So you were the only one in the room.
Oh, really?
It's awesome. I've only ever done it one time. I was the Weasley twins from Harry Potter,
Right.
James and Oliver Phelps. I took them to the park to hang out one time, and a buddy of mine was working there, so he hooked us up. It's a neat experience. And what they do is they mess with you. So my boss, Michael Huell, the guy who founded Michael's VIPs, he was the lead scare taker. And literally, they paid main page lead scare taker, go for lead scare taker. You've got an A-list celebrity coming in. Now, the year would have been approximately 1991, 1992, I believe.
Yeah.
So imagine you're just a college kid, fresh out of the military, you're working for Disney, and you're ready, and the doors open up, and a fully dressed Michael Jackson walks
Oh,
in the room.
stop it. Stop.
Dead serious. He said
Wow.
Michael Jackson walks in the room with a bodyguard and his tour guide, his jockey, as they say. And literally the door shuts and he goes, "Please move towards the dead center of the room." And Michael Jackson goes, "Ah, that's pretty funny." And he walks towards the middle and the lights go down. And when the lights go down, your job as the lead scare taker is to run over towards that guest and be right in their breathing space so that when the lights come
Oh.
on, you freak them out. And Michael, our Michael, sold it. The lights come on, and his hands are at Michael Jackson's throat. And he goes,
Oh my
"I'm
God.
sorry, your room is ready." Michael Jackson goes into a hysterical fit of laughter and says, "You're pretty funny. You want to ride this ride with me?" Literally, Michael Huell, he takes his hat off, he takes his name tag off, and says, "Absolutely, I'd be honored."
Oh my
Walks into the
God.
walks into the room, gets on the ride with Michael Jackson. The ride goes through and he's telling him, "And in this room, you'll notice that the bride is here. And in this room, you'll notice that we're going backwards because we're being pushed out of a window. And now we are 6 feet under the dog." And he's just giving them all the story. Right before they get off the ride, he says, "Oh, and I love this." He goes, "Mr. Jackson." And before he can speak, Michael Jackson goes, "Oh, you know who I am?" He's like, "Yes, sir. I know who you are. Um, Please don't make any big gestures. We're going to be getting off of this ride and there's going to be people there. We don't want to make a scene." He's like, "No problem." They go to get off the ride and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, is that Michael Jackson?" And he goes, "Hi, everybody." Security comes running in. They're holding people back. Michael Huell, he puts his fingers together and makes the gesture where you're almost like you're pulling apart a knot, which means stretch
Right.
or ride again. So the ride goes through a second time. He says again, Mr. Jackson, please. He's like, I'll do my best. They go to get off the ride. People are still pushing. Security comes in. He makes the gesture again. He said, by the fifth time we're going through, I'm not even talking about this ride anymore. I'm
Oh my
saying, and
Lord.
when you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, you're going to see a real human skull. And when you go on It's a Small World, and it's by the seventh time through, Michael Jackson says, "Hey, you're really awesome, really. I am having fun, but I would like to get off this ride." There is an emergency shutoff in the graveyard where one of the tombstones, if you push it over, it's an emergency brake and it shuts the ride down. Michael Huell was able to take Michael Jackson through the exit, down through the corridors, and when you get to the corridors, there is Orange County Police, Disney security, Michael's travel attendee, bodyguard, waiting for Michael to arrest him. And Michael Jackson says, "Hey, thank you guys. I'm having a lot of fun. And he points at the female tour guide. He goes, "You are really sweet and I really like you, but I want this guy to be my tour guide from now on." The Disney manager says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. Disney doesn't employ male tour guides." Without missing a beat, Michael Jackson says, "They do now. I'll see you
Whoa.
tomorrow morning."
Oh my
Like
gosh.
the ultimate power move. Just
Yeah.
shut it down. And so Michael goes, "Well, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, that guy was going to take you to jail for kidnapping Michael Jackson, but I guess you dodged a bullet. Go home and shower. I'll see you in 2 hours." He says, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "We have to train you tonight to take Michael Jackson to Epcot tomorrow. And then when you're done at Epcot, you have to hurry up, shower, come back because I have to train you for MGM Studios the next day." And that was when Disney hired their first male tour guide.
Unreal. You just can't make this stuff up. That
No,
is
sir.
amazing.
And that man employed me. When I say that sometimes I feel like I'm living in the Truman Show because the coincidences that encounter my life are so random and they feel like such epic BS. So I'm a musician by trade. I moved down here to sing and play piano. I was on American Idol season 9 and then beat Shazam season
What?
1.
Wait. You were on. How did I not know this about you? American Idol?
Yeah, I didn't make it anywhere. I'm literally on one preview of one episode of one. You might see the back of one of my tattoos in a commercial. It
Oh
was
my
I
gosh.
am a nobody. I am a Z-list celebrity. You can't get any more unfamous than me.
Okay. All right. But still,
So
that's something. Go
so
ahead.
from it was cool, and then so from there. I eventually took a job at the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando. It's the biggest Hard Rock in the world, 1,100 seats. It's one of the 10 biggest restaurants in the world, and I became the memorabilia docent. My job was to take families on tours of the restaurant, and then I showed them the VIP suite, the John Lennon room, the Woodstock room. I showed them the green rooms where the rock stars would hang out before performing. I loved the job. It was an absolute blast. But I would notice that I would see the same like eight very attractive people. And I say that because it would be like a very nice looking 25-year-old guy with a family that looks nothing like him. And they would always be eating like the bill would always come to $200 at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then he would say, "Joey," and I'd go, "Hey, bro, what's up? Can you take my family around?" Then I would take them around the building and they would be grateful and generous and thank me. And then I would see him 3 days later with a different family. And I finally just, after 6.5, 7 years working at the Hard Rock, I finally just started asking people, I said, "What do you do?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I do what you do, but for the entire city of Orlando." I said, "That's amazing. I would love to do something like that." And they said, "Oh, if you want, I can introduce you to the owner." I said, "Okay." And whenever I got my record deal, I did 2 albums, and they hooked me up with a personal trainer. Every morning, Monday through Thursday, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I had to meet with a personal trainer because I am just a stereotypical fat Italian. So if I don't lift weights, I'm not going to be, soccer moms aren't going to come buy my album. So
Right.
I got to do what I got to do. So I noticed that every day I had the 8 to 9 slot, and the 9 to 10 slot was this couple. It was a guy and his partner. Every day, 9 to 10, I'd shake his hand. I'd say, "Hey, it's good seeing you guys," and I'd leave. Never asked his name. Never met him. We threw a party at the Hard Rock to try and get this group of tour guides. There was 12 of them to always bring their guests to the Hard Rock because they brought great money and great people. And they said, "Joey, I'd like you to meet Michael Huell." And I go, "Holy S word!" And we both start laughing. And they go, "What?" And he goes, "This guy's the reason why me and Terry don't have an 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock spot with a personal trainer. Literally, the guy who owns the company that I would work for shared the personal trainer with me.
Oh
I
my
had the eight
gosh.
to nine. It was the weirdest coincidence. We just started laughing. And he's like, "So when can you start?" That was my interview.
It,
The interview was he giggled at me and said, "When can you start?"
you
And
know,
I've been working for him for 16 years now.
honestly, I'm not surprised. I firmly believe that there are things that happen in our lives that were destined to happen. I could do an entire podcast just on things that in my life would be a quote unquote coincidence, but I believe were destined to happen. There's a chain of events that lead you to a moment in your life. And I think that that's a good example of that. It's just you were destined for this. And so it makes perfect sense that things played out like they did. Speaking of how things play out, because what has Disney done within the past couple of years? They've kind of changed their rules as far as tours, right?
So what has unfortunately happened, and you take whatever side you will or take none. As the Rush song says, choose, even if you choose not to make a choice, you've still made one. So choose free will.
Did you
Disney loved
literally just
us.
quote Rush?
Of course.
God, I love you.
Great. You're the best, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a big fan. There's only three things that come out of Canada that I can tolerate. There's Rush, there's wine gums, and those little. Actually, I think those are British, so I can't actually give Canada. Anyway, we can
Yeah.
joke about Canada later. Um,
Anyway,
what happened is um, Disney loved us. In fact, when Michael worked for Disney after 3 years, he went to the Disney Corporation and he said, "Hey, I noticed that the Disney minimum is 8 hours." And they said, "Correct." And he said, "Why do we have to have 8 hour tours? Why not less?" And they said, "Well, at this point, Disney now charges around $930 an hour with an 8 hour minimum, which means
whoa.
you're going to, oh, yeah, you're looking at like 8 grand a day minimum." Yeah.
Okay.
So
Anyway,
so they said we do an 8 hour minimum so that we have them for breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner. And he said, "Why do we have to get 2 meals out of them?" And they said, "Well, because that's downtime, but they're still being billed for it." And it's like, doesn't that seem a bit unnecessary and maybe dishonest? And they said, "Well, no, it's a job. We while they're eating, we get them VIP seating." And he said, "Fair enough." He goes, "If you'll look at this plan I've drawn up, I found a way to do the same job in 6 hours." And they said, "Yeah, we don't want to subscribe to that. We like what we're doing." He goes, "Fair enough." He goes, "I'd like to put in my 2 weeks notice, and I would
wow.
like to start my own third party company where I take families on tours, and I only need 6 hours." And they said, "That's a wonderful idea. If you would like to do that, you can do that. You have our blessing. Um, go on. Good luck. Just know that you can't do any of the things you do as a Disney guide. You can't take people up exit ramps. You can't backdoor them on thing." He goes, "No, it's okay. I don't need to." He's like, "I'm going to make them rope drop," which rope drop is a term that means you're going to start literally as the park's opening, and I'm going to rush them on rides that get long lines. And he's like, I think I figured out a plan on how this could work." And they said, "If that's what you want to do, good luck, and you have our blessing." In fact, all the way up until about 2010, I can remember getting calls from Disney's Grand Floridian. They would call us because Disney only has a certain amount of jockeys or, technical, their tour guides. They have a small amount because that is an expensive ticket to purchase. So you always want to make sure that they're working. So there does come a point where, like during Christmas or spring break, Disney runs out of tour guides. And when they would do that, they would call Michael. They would say, "Hey, Michael, this is Todd over here at the Magic Kingdom. How you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm really good. How are you?" "Great, great. We have a family of 6 at the Grand Floridian that needs a tour guide. We told them that we are fully booked, but that one of our former guides started a company." They used to endorse us. Literally, Disney would say, "Please use Disney tour guide services. However, if you can't, there's a company called Michael's VIPs." We even got wrote about, and that's kind of what happened. That's what hurt us. It wasn't until the Wall Street Journal reached out to us, and they said, "Michael Huel." He said, "Yes." And they said, "We understand that you were the first male tour guide Disney ever hired." He goes, "I was." They said, "We also understand that you were the first concierge service in the entire state of Florida that takes families specifically to theme parks." He goes, "I am." And they said, "We want to do a story about you." He said, "Okay." The Wall Street Journal wrote about me to the point where most of my clients over the past 16 years, doctors, lawyers, politicians, trust fund babies, Nepo babies, I'm getting calls from everybody
Yeah.
saying, "Dude, I just read about you in the Wall Street Journal. That's awesome." I said, "That's very cool." And that was when it hurt us. That was when all of a sudden Disney reached out to Michael and they said, "Hey, yeah, we're not going to let this happen anymore." He's like, what do I do?" And he goes, just know that we don't want third party tour guides in the park anymore." And he said, "Okay." So he kept doing it, didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden, the witch hunt started. Disney trespassed over 200 people inside of 1 year.
Wow.
No, there was no, they didn't come to the gate and meet you and say, hey, man, look, I don't know why this is still happening, but you're not allowed the tour guide. They literally would show up, and it was it was the angriest and darkest I've ever seen at a Disney day, where you're walking up to the park and you're walking in with your family. A friend of mine, I won't drop his name because I don't know if he wants to be talked about.
Right.
A good friend of mine, he literally walks up to the gate. He's got a family of five. He's got a mom, a dad, a 10-year-old boy, an 8-year-old girl, and a 6-year-old girl. They go into the park first, and then he touches his wristband, and the light goes blue.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, what happens if your light goes blue? It means there's something wrong with your ticket. He
Ooh.
At that moment, if you're a third party tour guide and that light goes blue, you know what's about to happen. You're about to get trespassed. The Disney guy, or the Disney security, ran up to him with an Orange County police officer, and they said, hello, are you such and such? And he said, I am. Why? And they said, you're being formally trespassed. The family's on the other side saying, hey, so and so, what's going on? He goes, he shouldn't have made a scene, but he goes, oh, I'm being arrested because I'm taking you to the park. And the kids start crying.
Oh
And
God.
it's such a shame. And they are crying, just sobbing. So he calls the family as the Disney guide, and the police officer escorting him back to his car. And the dad's like, "What's going on?" He goes, "I'm being formally trespassed. I will not be able to take you on a tour today. Don't worry, I'm not going to jail. I have to go back to my house. I will call you. I will be on the phone with you all day, and this day will of course be comped. You won't have to pay." And he's like, "Well, thank you." And so he had to do the whole thing from his phone. And it's just a shame because what's going on is I I got trespassed almost 2 years ago, 18, 19 months it's been now. And families will come back and they will say to me, what if we just buy you a 4-day ticket? And I say, you don't understand. There's a girl that I know who got trespassed. She literally shaved the side of her head. She wears a wig. She wears big Elton John sunglasses. She wears a jacket. Walked into the park. She was there for 2 hours. And Disney got her, and they didn't re trespass her. They arrested her. She had to go to court. She was sent to jail because she was at a park that she was trespassed. Disney's not playing around anymore. This is like the end of Fast and the Furious 1, where the truck drivers are like, hey, look, we know we're just hauling DVD players for your car, but we're going to start shooting you now.
Yeah.
And that's what it's come
Oh
down to.
man.
And
What a
and
shame.
it is a shame. And what Disney doesn't realize is these are families that I'm as much a part of their family, not to put down the park, but they're not just coming back to the park to do Disney. They're coming back to see me. I
Yeah.
had a family who went, he was staying, I love them. Again, not going to drop their names because I'm not going to call them out. They were staying at I believe, the boardwalk, and they walk in and he says, hey, one of my good friends was trespassed because he was a tour guide that hosted us. And they said, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, I need to speak to your manager's manager. And they said, why? He goes, just get him on the line. They said, okay. And the manager comes out and he goes, I need you as a lawyer. He goes, I need you to grant a 4-day variance that allows this individual to come to the park with me for 4 days, not as my tour guide, but as my buddy. And they said, I'm so sorry, I can't do that. And he goes, wonderful. I need a full refund on my entire vacation package. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, if you're not going to welcome him into the park, Universal and SeaWorld said they will. So I need a refund on my vacation. They said, you don't understand, sir. You paid for tickets, your room. It's like $20,000. He's like, right. I need a refund on my vacation. My demands have not been met. I need a full refund. Let me know. I'm a lawyer. I'm more than happy to drop the paperwork. They said, no. And they had to refund him all of his money. He called me. We went to Universal Studios. He stayed at the club level at the Hard Rock. We did Universal, Islands of Adventure. We did a day at the water park. And then we went to SeaWorld because why not? Kids love roller coasters and fish. Why
Sure.
not?
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Actually, because you mentioned SeaWorld, of Disney, SeaWorld, everything in Orlando, what's the hidden treasure? What is the thing that you think is underappreciated?
SeaWorld is definitely underappreciated. Um, let's just be honest, that stupid Blackfish documentary shot them in the foot.
Right. Right.
I know SeaWorld employees, they love animals, they love their jobs. When you see some of these SeaWorld people that like the dolphin trainers, when they talk about their dolphin, it sounds like they're talking about a freaking child.
Yeah.
They love their job. So SeaWorld, not to mention the way that SeaWorld treats their annual pass holders. Oh my gosh, they love us.
Really?
They give you free SeaWorld dollars, free beer, It's amazing. SeaWorld's cool again. Universal Studios will always have my heart, though. Universal Studios, again, they love their annual pass holders. They built a UOAP lounge, which is a Universal Orlando annual pass holder. It's a private lounge just for annual pass holders. They'll do things like whenever the Minion movie came out, they put out a tweet that just said, first 200 people at the Orlando annual pass holder lounge today, we're giving you a free ticket to go see the Minion movie. Like
Wow.
they do stuff like that all the time. They tweeted out one time, it was a picture of Optimus Prime's finger, and it said, "Freedom fighters, if you know where this is, first 5 people to find me get a prize." And I said, "Oh, that's funny. I'm at the park that day." I show up. I said, "Hey," and they go, "Hi, can I help you?" And I was like, um, I think this is Optimus Prime's finger. And they said, "It is." They gave me a DVD Blu-ray box set of the entire Transformers movie run. It's they love doing stuff like that. It's really cool.
My better half and I, we have been season pass holders to the San Antonio Zoo, and it just expired, and we didn't renew. But now you got me wanting to, because there's a SeaWorld San Antonio. Now you got me
Yes.
wanting to do the annual pass for SeaWorld San Antonio, so I might
But
do
here's
that.
what's you should, because it's very inexpensive. You can buy like a Disney annual pass is almost $1,600 for the top tier. Universal, you can buy the top tier annual pass for I think it's around 800, and that gets you into both the parks and the water park, and a bunch of discounts. The SeaWorld annual pass, their highest tier is only $450, and
Wow.
it gets you into every SeaWorld, every Busch Gardens, every Aquatica, everywhere in America. So it's amazing. Plus, when you and your better
Wow.
half come down here to visit me and mine, don't pay for tickets. We have free passes. If you sign up for a SeaWorld annual pass, they give you 6 free passes for the year just to give to family and friends. So when you guys come down here, we'll take you to SeaWorld. We'll show you how the pros drink.
I'm taking you up on that for sure.
Please, please.
One last thing I want to cover here, because we're running out of time,
Okay.
is your ability to use social media, because I'm always impressed. You've got Instagram and YouTube and all of this. Part of your job, I would think, is promoting yourself, because you've got
Of
to
course.
find ways to promote yourself. How do
Absolutely.
you navigate that? Because, I mean, my God, TikTok, YouTube, all this crap, if you will. I'm no good at it. What do you? How has it changed, and what do you find works best for you?
What works best for me is I want people to know how approachable I am. I want people to see me in the park and just come up and say hi. Um, I was with a family at Universal Studios walking around. We're in the gift shop in Islands of Adventure. And I'm just saying, oh my gosh, because you love Transformers so much, make sure you get the Bumblebee drinking glass. You're going to love it. And I get tapped on the shoulder, and it was a Universal employee. And he goes, "I'm sorry to bother you." He goes, "Are you the Joey that's on Tom and Dan?" I said, "I am the Joey that's on Tom and Dan." He's like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "Me and my girlfriend listen to your segment every month. We love hearing you talk about the theme parks." I was like, "Well, thank you so much." He's like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Of course you can." And so he took a picture with me, and he tagged
Uh,
me, and not only did it make me feel good about myself, it gave me this fun level of credibility that this family, they go, "Oh my gosh, you're on the radio?" And I go, "Yeah, every month I'm on 104.1 on Tom and Dan. They're buddies of mine from literally 21 years ago. I just moved to Florida, and I went into the radio station. They used to have a morning show, and I'm like, that's how." So my social media isn't me being on social media. My social media is me hanging out with people. So
yeah.
I'll be hanging out at Epic Universe, and all of a sudden the Invisible Man comes over and wants to tell me a story. So I record him telling me a story, and next thing you know, 800,000 views. Or the video that got it all started. I love carnival games, so I'm in Universal Studios and I'm playing the one of the basketball games, and I won a giant plush Duff beer. So I'm having fun with it, and I go, "Hey, do me a favor, hold this camera." And I walk over to Homer Simpson and Bart, and I say, "Homer, you want a beer?" And again, these actors love to improv, love it. So give them the opportunity. If you're ever in a theme park and you see a fur character, a face character, a person, please talk to them. They love honing their improv skills. So I walk up to Homer and I go, "Hey, Homer, you want a Duff?" He grabbed the beer, pretend to open it, pretend to chug it, pretend to smash it on his forehead, smacked Bart, and then started rubbing my bald head and pretended that he was hammered drunk. It was hilarious, and that video got 1.3 million views.
Damn. Oh my
And
gosh.
that's what built my social. It's
Uh,
me talking to Baby Groot, 350,000. It's all it is. During Halloween Horror Nights, we went last year 23 times. It's my favorite thing in the world in a theme park. They turned the entire theme park into a haunted house. We went in, and the Megan movie had come out. And that, of course, is the movie about the animatronic babysitter who terrorizes people that try to break into the house and kidnap the kid she's babysitting. Great premise, reverse Home Alone. And the Megan girls, they dance in perfect harmony. And then they do a scare zone, which is where people from these Blumhouse movies, you can get your picture with them. The most adorable little girl. She had to be 5 years old. She was dressed like a Megan doll. Walked up to Megan and they had this most adorable interaction where they made little heart gestures at each other. And I was like, oh, this is precious. I need to videotape this. Literally, I knew the girl who played Megan, sent it to her, shared it, like something like 116,000 views. Like people love theme parks. There's something about theme parks that we all hold in our hearts, our nostalgia. It reminds us of just a better time.
Yeah.
And people love living in those moments.
How can people find you on social media?
I am at the Joey Mazzant on all social media platforms. If you pop onto YouTube, just type in Joey Mazzant, you'll definitely see me. Joey, you know how to spell, but Mazzant's a little harder. Mazzant.
I'll link it in the show notes. I got to have you back. I literally were out of time, and but there's so much we didn't cover. So
oh, no, you're one of the
okay,
nicest human beings I know. I would love to do this.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, sir.
Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss an episode, and you can listen to the archive of past shows. Hope you'll check me out on X, Facebook, and YouTube at Shawn Wilsie, full name ShawnWilsie, and on Instagram at SWilsie. Thank you for downloading this edition of Are We on the Air?
Yes, I know, Travis. That's why we give such bargains.
Copyright 2025, King Bobby Productions, all rights reserved.